So this video is going to be about my journey as a Billy man. In order to properly explain my beginning to becoming a Billy man, I have to talk a little bit about my journey as a streamer as well. It all started when I first saw Slay posting Wesker Tech clips on TikTok, and they really piqued my interest as I had already been playing Wesker for a little bit. And seeing those clips is what truly inspired me to start to try and improve at Wesker and start posting more on TikTok. For the first 6 months of me streaming Dead by Daylight, I almost entirely focused on Survivor and Wesker content. But towards the latter half of that 6-month gap in time, I started focusing more and more on Wesker and Killer. My main focus was to improve with him in various aspects while also learning the ins and outs of being a content creator. When I wasn't posting TikToks or streaming, I would lurk and slay streams whenever I had the chance to, but the time difference made it a little difficult at times. But that is the first place I became familiar with Quad Pod 1, a very talented Billy man who also streamed and posted clips on TikTok. That was the first time I'd ever really realized the things that you could achieve with that killer, and which opened the door to communities I had never ever thought of being a part of before. Eventually, I started to stop by quad streams, as I was gaining more interest in playing Billy, and he was a good source of seeing what was possible with Billy mechanically. When I'd become more of a regular in his chat, I would occasionally see someone who was a mod in quad stream named Sin Crusader. He'd pop by a few times. I had no idea who Cruz was at the time, unaware that he was another insanely talented Billy player as well, with game sense and knowledge about Billy that to this day still impresses me. We'd interacted more in chat, and he eventually started to stop by my streams as well and encouraged me to pick up Billy and give him a try, which is when I finally figured, hell, why not? I'll give it a shot. And so I started to play Billy off and on. April 10th, 2025. This is the day I posted my very first Billy compilation that I had ever made. I was brand new to the killer and barely even had a concept of 180ing. I didn't know how to curve or even what the standards for a good clip were for this killer. I was essentially a fish out of water, just floundering around hoping to make something of it, but I was excited to learn. My 180s were slow and lacking confidence, my curves not smooth, and my flicks non-existent. This would eventually change rather quickly as I began to experiment with this kit and see what I could do with it. I had no idea how fast I would pick this character up, and had no idea how much I would be willing to do just to keep getting better and better clips. At this point in time, I didn't even know what add-ons were considered good, what half of them even did. The add-ons I ran the most in the beginning because I wasn't confident in my curving capabilities at the time was double boots for the turn rate. My 180s were still slow, but I was getting more confident in the motion of it. I also started using some dumbass reshade filters because who doesn't want to play Dead by Daylight and make everything look neon green like Monster Energy? 5 days later, on April 15th, I had posted my second ever Billy compilation to TikTok. I was still using random add-ons because I didn't really know it was considered to be good for Billy at the time. Eventually, I switched my add-ons to the Thompson mix, which reduces your cooldown time after using the chainsaw by 10% when not in overdrive, with low kickback chains because I bumped on everything, and that reduced the cooldown time after hitting an obstacle during a chainsaw sprint by 15%. During the end of April, I posted my final Billy compilation for this month on April 28th. By this time, I had started to consistently use low pro chains, which grants the ability to continue a chainsaw sprint through breakable walls and injure a survivor. And if the survivor is injured already, you will put them in a deep wound state. My 180s were a little faster, and I had some more confidence in my capabilities to play as killer, but I had plenty of room to improve and much more to learn. In the beginning, I enjoyed 180ing. I enjoyed doing little S curves, testing the waters for what I could achieve with Billy. Come May, I posted my first Billy compilation of the month on the 7th, shortly followed by another post on the 10th. I was far more comfortable in Billy and miles better at him compared to last month. I was picking him up rather fast and was loving every single moment of it. When I had the add-ons, I'd run engravings, which increases your movement speed during a chainsaw sprint by 20%, increases the charge time of your saw by 12%, along with low pro chains. I'd even started trying and successfully hitting some low pro flicks once in a while, though. Being a new Billy player, I constantly ran out of add-ons because, well, add-on poverty is real. And when I didn't have engravings or low pro chains, I would usually run boots with T-Mix or double boots. I truly was enjoying every moment of this period of time though. I was learning fast, my stream was doing well too. People who inspired me to even start this journey would occasionally stop by my stream and chat with me while I played. It was mind-blowing to me at the time. I also began to only run the perk Lightborn. Wow. I had been running Lightborn, but I committed to it. I'd seen Quad do it for a period of time and I thought it was pretty funny because imagine 4King a lobby and at the end they just see you only running Lightborn. So I started to do it as well because why not? On the 10th of May, I posted what I had thought was just another normal Billy compilation on TikTok, but I was mistaken. My 6th Billy compilation blew up like big numbers. I'm talking it had 500,000 views in a couple months and continued to keep going and going. At the time of me making this video, that post is at about 1.1 million views, 84,000 likes. 1.5 thousand comments, 9.7 thousand favorites, and 9.6 thousand shares. I know it's just the algorithm doing what it does, but this is a big factor for me in terms of motivation for posting and playing even more than I already was. At this point, I had started playing a much higher DPI as I really liked the flashy camera movement and playstyle that came with it. I loved playing Billy, and at this point had abandoned Wesker entirely. Didn't even think of playing him anymore. I was confident in my abilities on this killer and was just hungry to be better, to be the best. I'd consistently kept going for 180s, fast S curves, any flicks that I possibly could, anything. I would use low pro in ways that like most people wouldn't, albeit low pro flicking or like cutting off a survivor through a breakable door. Straight Kool-Aid man that shit. Anything I could to like spice up my gameplay or make it look more entertaining. Throughout the month of May, I posted 16 Billy compilations, so much more than the last month. I was hooked. Throughout this whole time, Cruz had been telling me about a clip hitting community he was a part of known as Syndicate, a group of like-minded Billy mains who love to share their clips with each other. But to get into Sim, you had to share clips consistently and the staff and members would watch your progress, and eventually you would be added to the team when you were consistently sharing clips and playing at a level beyond that of your average pub Billy. I wasn't exactly sure how long it would take me to get in, or if I would get in at all, but it was something I was willing to try. June rolls around and I start posting, albeit a little less than last month. In the month of June, I posted 11 Billy compilations. Some of them were all within the same day. This month, I'd slowed down quite a bit. The days I played and posted outside of streaming were spread out a bit more, but I was still improving. My mechanics were significantly better than they were the past 2 months. My game sense and knowledge of what I could get away with on Billy had improved as well. I started to use no collision spots like Syncar to get downs you typically wouldn't be able to get. At this point, I almost exclusively ran engravings and teammates or low pro chains, as those were my favorite add-on combinations for going for clips and posting in Sim. I will admit, I was slowly starting to burn out though. I wanted to be better. I wanted more. I wasn't improving as fast as I thought I could be and as fast as I wanted to. It was slowly starting to take a toll on my mental. It felt like there were so many other better players also posting to get into Sim, and they just had a better chance to get in. And this was the beginning of a small downhill trend in my mentality when it came to hitting clips. This is when I first started feeling like having my doubts about Dead by Daylight. Maybe I shouldn't be playing this game. When July rolled around, it was the first time I'd ever taken a giant break from Billy. I was burnt out and didn't like any of the clips I was hitting. They were never good enough for me, and for the entirety of July, I only posted one compilation. The only good thing about this month relating to Dead by Daylight was that I had finally made it into Sim, and while I was happy, I didn't really have any other goals to chase after. I stopped streaming almost entirely for this month because I was having issues in my personal life that were taking an extreme toll on my mental health. So for almost a solid month, I withdrew myself from the communities I was a part of and stopped posting in Sim almost entirely, and I hardly streamed. I'd almost quit Dead by Daylight and streaming, but my closest friend Moxaura helped me through what I was going through, and she motivated me to keep trying and to not give up, and for that I'll always be grateful. August rolls around and things even out in my life a little bit finally. I make my return to playing Dead by Daylight and I start streaming it again, albeit inconsistently. I started posting it a little bit more frequently again as I felt a little bit better about the game, but I was nowhere near as active as I used to be, which led me to playing worse. I posted a total of 6 compilations during this month, and towards the latter half of August, I had motivation once more, something to spice up my playstyle just a little bit. A new way of flicking. It was snappier and good at grabbing the attention of people. At this time, I would genuinely flick like this every chance I had, because I found it to be entertaining to me personally, and it challenged me to see like just how fast I could really flick, like how far could I push it, how far could I go flicking with Billy, doing 180s with Billy, just how ridiculously far could I take it. September rolls around finally, and I'm still going strong with Billy, still improving at a much more rapid pace now than I ever was before. I've dialed in my flicks and 180s with Billy and regularly was getting accused of macros on TikTok because of how robotic my mechanics looked. It was such a good compliment. I felt proud of myself for once when I was playing this game. People who inspired me to play this game and play Killer in general were now regulars in my stream and even friends with me. I had a healthy little community of regulars who were always there when I streamed. I had even gained some decent traction on TikTok and was steadily growing my Twitch. This is when one of my dreams at the time came true. There was a clip hitting team with some of the most talented players in Dead by Daylight I've ever seen in terms of pushing killers to their limits and hitting crazy clips. The team is called FLICKLAND. I'd been aware of FLICKLAND for quite some time, as Quad and Cruz were both part of the team when I met them. I had joined the server a while back and just kind of lurked there. One day Quad messaged messaged me and let me know that I should really start posting in FLICKLAND more and see if I can get in on the team before the next team montage they were working on called Gaia came out. Started posting my Billy clips in there consistently, and a few days later on September 10th, I got a message from K41, the founder of FLICKLAND. He personally invited me to be a part of the team. When October came around, I was fully in the swing of playing Billy every day and posting clips as frequently as I could in FLICKLAND and on TikTok. I posted a total of 9 Billy compilations to TikTok and even more clips that I didn't post on TikTok but directly to the FLICKLAND server. I'd hit some crazy clips and even a few true one-frame flicks, including a true one-frame low-pro flick before they had changed the add-on. One thing that unfortunately started creeping in though was Imposter Sender once more. You see, I have significantly less time on Billy than everyone else on the roster, and that kind of made me feel like I really needed to dial it up a notch. I needed to hit things that people would see and their jaws would drop. I started to slip into that similar mindset of nothing being good enough for myself, and nothing was what I wanted it to be. I was just constantly chasing a greater and greater high that I just couldn't seem to reach, and it ultimately led to me almost leaving FLICKLAND. I had felt like I didn't really deserve to be there with everybody else because like maybe I just got in because Quad put in a good word for me. I truly believed that at the time. Like I really did, and it wasn't fun because I was like, how can I compete? How can I have 110 hours on Billy and be competing with these fucking people who have thousands of hours on Billy? Like I don't have the experience that they have, and I'm trying to like make up for it with raw mechanics. And so it was like I felt like if I wasn't doing my very best 24/7, that like it was worthless. And so here we are, November, the current month, where at the beginning of the month I still had that similar feeling. I felt like I wasn't talented enough to be in FLICKLAND, and it almost caused me to leave. I ended up almost leaving FLICKLAND. I reached out to K41 explaining how I felt, and then I felt like I wasn't good enough to be on the roster, and I truly believed that at the time. I thought I was only there because Quad spoke positively about me to K41. Without going in depth about the conversation I had with him, he sympathized with me and shared some of his own struggles with FLICKLAND and Dead by Daylight. It helped change my perspective with quite a bit, which leads me to where I am right now, still playing Billy. Big surprise. If I could ever quit this game permanently. If you've made it this far, if you've watched this entire thing for some reason, I truly am grateful for you. I never thought I'd be able to play a game I was passionate about and truly push the character I love to its limits. As much as I hate Dead by Daylight, I love it for introducing me to so many wonderful people. Thank you for watching. I hope you have a beautiful day. Later.